Hey guys, my name is Kaylee and welcome back to the YouTube channel where we talk everything fitness, wellness, lifestyle, leveling up. And today I wanted to talk about all of the things that helped me to lose over 35 pounds and really what helped change the trajectory of my health as somebody who didn't think weight loss was possible, as somebody who struggled deeply with deep-rooted patterns and binge eating. And I just wanted to share a little bit more about my journey and what's helped me to hopefully inspire somebody who also feels the same as I used to, who doesn't see it as possible, who's tried everything but nothing seems to work, to hopefully shed some light on that person, the person that I used to be, and just give you some practical tips that'll help you to move forward and help you to ultimately reach your own fitness goals. Let's take a trip down memory lane and just a little bit about me and my fitness journey. I grew up playing sports, and so I was active my entire life, really playing soccer, basketball. I was the girl who loved PE, took a lot of pride in my health. I took a lot of pride in taking care of myself and being active and just having these capabilities. And that led all the way into my high school years. And so my sophomore year of high school, it was kind of like a natural elevation to the gym. So I started going to the gym my sophomore year. So this fitness journey has been over 7 years. And then it came into the adult years, right? I started getting my own job, making my own money, having more flexibility on what I can eat and eating out. And that flexibility is ultimately what dug me into a hole. I started to indulge in every single craving, and it was just a nonstop cycle of treating myself in a sense, to the point where it became very deep rooted binge eating patterns, cravings, all the things. And I ended up gaining almost 50 pounds in about 2 years. 2024 was probably the lowest point that I've had in my health. And during that time, I didn't think that weight loss was possible because I was also coaching at the time. And so I knew all of the practical steps that I needed to do in order to lose weight, see results, but I simply couldn't act on it. I wasn't practicing what I was preaching. And that's also what really dug myself into a hole deeper mentally, because I knew that I should be doing better, but I wasn't. I knew I was supposed to be setting an example for my clients, but wasn't. I wasn't able to implement the things that I say and that I preach, and my physical health as well, to the point where I was developing all kinds of irregularities with my cycle. My A1C was super high. I was pre-diabetic. I tried everything, the challenges. I tried to do 75 hard, Project 50, like any challenge that came out. I was like, okay, this is going to be the point where I change my life. It never did, right? I couldn't stick to it. And at the very lowest point of my journey, I ended up reading the book Atomic Habits. And this book by James Clear absolutely changed the trajectory of my life, because it taught me how to build systems, and it taught me the power of 1% better. Is the small things that create big change when doing repeatedly. For me, I was just trying to do the big things that I couldn't ever stick to. So then I started adopting the mentality of 1% better. And that's exactly what got me to the point where I'm building this system, building consistency, building discipline, building trust. And then I'm optimizing and moving on to next things. But it all started off with the little things. And so here's where we get into the practical tips on what I did to help me to lose the weight, using and adopting this mentality of 1% better and utilizing the Atomic Habits. Number one is I focus on my steps, and you hear this a lot, but it really is one of the most important things to have in your fitness journey. Not only are you able to move your body, increase the amount of calories you're burning throughout the day, but it feels good. It helps your digestive system, and it gives you some sort of structure in your day as well, and also allowing you to get outside or allowing yourself some time to reflect. So basically what I did, I was only averaging around 1,000 to 2,000 steps per day because I was working at home. And so I just increased by 2,000 steps. That was it. Using 1% better every single day. I can do a 20-minute walk. I can't do an hour walk going to 10K steps, where like everybody says. I know I can't stick to that. I'm just going to do 2,000 steps, more than I'm already doing. A 20-minute walk, I can do that. I can split it up. And so I just focused on that. And then I just kept building over and over. Okay, once 4,000 became easy, then I started to go up to 6,000. And once 6,000 became easy, I went to 7, and then 8. And then now I'm averaging around 9 to 10,000 steps per day, easily because I built the system. I systemized it. I made it part of my normal. And then I started to increase it and challenge myself as the months and the year went by. Number two is I focused on a plan. Number two is I focused on a plan that I knew I could stick to and enjoy, not the one that everybody is doing. Because there's so many fitness influencers who are doing 4-day splits, 5-day splits, running marathons, doing high rocks. I wanted to do those things, I guess you would say, but I couldn't stick to them. And what good is a plan that you can't stick to? And I knew, because I was coaching at the time, the importance of putting on muscle, the importance of lifting weights. And so I knew I needed to systemize before I optimize. And so I was only averaging around 1 to 2 workouts per week. So I started there. I said, every week I'm going to do 2 workouts per week, a lower body workout and an upper body workout. And I just did that every single week until 2 weeks became my norm. And then I went to 3, and then I went to 4 days per week. And that has been my sweet spot for the longest time, and what I implemented throughout the entirety of my weight loss journey. Also, in these workouts, I made sure that these workouts were things that I actually enjoyed. You know, like if I didn't like doing RDLs because they hurt my back, I didn't do RDLs. There's so many alternatives to different exercises. You don't have to do a specific exercise. You don't have to do the specific plan. You can modify it however you like. It's your fitness journey. If it makes you stick to it, then that's all that really matters. Number 3 is I invested into a heated class membership. And this is one of the biggest turning points, I feel like, in my weight loss journey, because I needed something that would make me feel alive again, that would allow me to romanticize the journey a little bit more. And this helped me to do just that. Like, I loved sweating. I loved doing something different. I loved doing something that challenged me. I loved that it allowed me to get outside of my normal routine, in a sense, of going to the gym. And this really just opened the horizons in terms of romanticizing the journey. And so the more that I romanticized it, the more I enjoyed staying consistent, the more I enjoyed showing up. And because I enjoyed it, I started to seek more ways to feel like this. And so I definitely recommend investing into yourself in any way, shape, or form, trying something new outside of just your normal routine. Actually, for somebody who kind of fell out of love and movement, or you're not moving at all, this is a good way to just kind of get started. Number 4, heading into the nutrition side of things, I focused on simply implementing more whole foods into my diet, because at the time I was really struggling with binge eating, just eating out 5 to 6 times per week, sometimes days a week, just eating out every single meal. And so I just simply focused on eating more whole foods at home. Okay, there's this breakfast I'm going to eat every single day. There's this lunch I'm going to eat every single day. And this simple act alone cut me down by hundreds and hundreds of calories, really, because when you're eating out, you're eating more calories for less volume. But when you're eating at home, you're eating more volume for less calories. And so the simple act of just eating more at home, that already put me into a natural deficit in comparison to eating out every single meal. And this helped me to lose weight pretty quickly, if I'm being honest, just constantly rinsing and repeating this cycle. So if there's anything when it comes to binge eating, or if you're somebody who's just eating out a lot, Uber eating a lot, then having and switching to whole foods is going to make the biggest difference in your fitness journey, and quick too. Number 5 is I started to pay attention more to the nutrition labels. So this is before I started tracking and tracking all of my meals and tracking my macros. I simply became aware of what's on the back of the product that I'm buying, or if I'm going to McDonald's, looking at the nutrition label on all of the meals that I'm eating, because it's a matter of becoming aware that can make the biggest difference. Like, can I get this bread that has more calories, or can I get this bread for less calories? Can I get this protein bar with less calories and more protein, or do I have to get this one with more calories and less protein? So simply looking at the nutrition label allowed me to become more aware of what I'm putting in my body and just making the better choice, the lower calorie choice that would do just the same thing as the other, but more lower in calorie, which allowed me to once again be in a natural deficit without even trying, and also staying full. Number 6 is I prioritize my self-development. And this is really important because you're only as capable as your mindset. I talked about this on my last video as well. If you are not actively looking for ways to improve your mindset, to see where you're keeping yourself stuck, to see the patterns that you keep repeating and asking yourself the deeper questions, then none of the tips are really going to matter, because you're going to be capped by your mindset. That's just always how it's going to work. And so I made the effort to read books, listen to podcasts, podcasts, watch YouTube videos, watch people who inspire me as well, follow people who inspire me. And that helps me to improve my mindset, expand my mind, ask myself the deeper questions that allowed me to continually move forward in my journey. And this is one of the most underrated fitness tips because it's all connected. Your mindset, your fitness. When you start to incorporate the mindset and self development realm of this thing, then everything becomes more fluid, easier, and you're not repeating the same cycles, wondering what the hell is going on, what's wrong with me. Last but not least, this kind of encompasses all of the tips that I already talked about, but it's having healthy daily habits. It's not things that you do on a weekly basis, it's things that you do every single day for your fitness and for your mindset. And so that was my step goal. That was journaling or 10 pages of a book every single day. These are things that I actively tracked and I marked off on a day-to-day basis, because if you're like me and you're struggling with staying consistent and you've been like that for a long time, you don't have any trust within yourself. Like, you don't trust your ability to follow through. You think you're the type of person who can't follow through, who doesn't follow through on the things that they say, etc. And so when you are actively tracking these habits, and it's habits that you know you can hit every single day, you start to rebuild that trust within yourself. And reestablish it every single day to become the person like, hey, I'm doing this. I'm consistent. I'm putting in the effort towards this. And it just becomes, you just start to build a more healthier relationship with yourself as you start to see that you're the type of person who follows through. And then as you up the habit, then you start doing it again and again and again. And this is one of the biggest things that really helped me in my fitness journey, and going from somebody who didn't trust myself, who didn't think it was possible, who thought I was never going to lose weight, to now the person who has accomplished everything that she wanted to accomplish beyond just fitness, hitting my fitness goals. And I just know and trust myself in whatever it is that I set my mind to, that I'm going to follow through. And that is a huge improvement from the person I was back in 2023, 2024. And so that concludes all of the tips in this video. I hope that it helps you in your own fitness journey, coming from somebody who is in your position, who is in your shoes. As always, comment if you have any questions or anything you guys want to see from me. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.